The only sound in the operations nexus of deep space listening post Thebes was the low, resonant hum of the quantum core and the whisper of recycled air. For Dr. Aris Thorne, it was the sound of solitude. For 3 years, she had been the station's soul, its lone sentinel orbiting a nameless, gas-shrouded giant in a star system so remote it was designated only by a string of numbers and letters. Her only company was the cosmic static, the hiss of the universe's background radiation, and the occasional, fleeting burst of a pulsar, a cosmic lighthouse, regular and utterly disinterested in her existence. She stretched, her joints popping in the sterile silence. The main holoscreen, a curved wall of shimmering data, displayed the usual tapestry of noise. Spectrographs painted rolling hills of green and blue, and the audio feed was a comforting, monotonous shush. It was the sound of nothing, the sound of home. Aris was about to initiate the system's nightly diagnostic when a spike of crimson jagged across the spectrograph, a corresponding chime, soft yet jarring after hours of silence, echoed through the nexus. Anomaly. The station's AI, a placid female voice designated Chloe, announced. Narrow band signal. Non-repeating. Point of origin indeterminate. Quote. Aris leaned forward, her reflection a ghost in the dark glass of the console. Probably another gravimetric lensing echo from the gas giant. Run a standard analysis. Quote. Running. Signal does not match any known natural or human-made emission profile. It is structured. Quote. Intrigued, Aris pulled up the raw data. It was a tight, coherent packet of information, buried in a frequency band usually reserved for deep space telemetry. It wasn't random. It was a message. Play it, she commanded, her voice barely a whisper. What came through the speakers wasn't the warble of a pulsar or the screech of plasma. It was sound, yes, but of a different kind. It was the gentle, rhythmic creak of wood, the distant, melodic chime of a windbell, and beneath it, the soft, resonant hum of a cello playing a simple, ascending scale. Aris's breath caught in her throat. Her hand flew to her mouth. No, it was impossible. The creak was from the porch swing of her childhood home in the Oregon woods. The windbell was the one her father had made from a salvaged piece of spaceship hull. Its tone unique, impossible to replicate, and the cello, that was her. At age 9, practicing in her room, the window open to the summer air, struggling with the finger placement for the C major scale. A memory, a perfect, audio recording of a memory she had never, ever recorded. A moment so private, so deeply etched in the core of her being, that its existence outside of her own mind was a violation. Chloe, are you certain this signal is external? Could it be a feedback loop from the neuroscanner? A bleed from my implant? Quote. Negative. Dr. Thorne. Signal origin is confirmed as external to the station's hull. The signal-to-noise ratio indicates a source at least 0.1 light-years distant. There is no internal system malfunction. Quote. A cold dread, sharp and precise, began to coil in her stomach. First contact. It had to be. Some alien intelligence had found a way to tap into her memories, to communicate using the architecture of her own mind. The implications were staggering. For hours, she worked, her fatigue forgotten. She isolated the signal, amplified it, and ran every decryption algorithm in the Thebes's considerable library. Nothing. The signal wasn't encrypted. It was pure, unadulterated information, a perfect echo of a moment lost to time. She was so engrossed she barely noticed the chronometer marking the passage of 4 hours. Her throat was parched. She stood, her legs stiff, and walked to the small replicator unit in the corner of the nexus. Water. 6 degrees Celsius, she said, her voice hoarse. The machine hummed, materializing a chilled bulb of water. As she reached for it, her sleeve caught on the edge of the console, and she fumbled the bulb. It hit the deck plate and burst, sending a spray of cold water across her boots and the floor. "Damn it," she muttered, grabbing a cloth from a dispenser to wipe up the mess. It was a clumsy, frustrating moment, entirely mundane. She returned to her console, the incident already fading from her mind as she stared at the waveform of her childhood. And then, another chime. Another signal packet detected. Chloe stated. Same frequency band. Quote, "Play it," Aris said, her heart beginning to hammer against her ribs. The sound that filled the nexus was the sound of her own voice, laced with irritation. Damn it. A perfect, crisp recording, followed by the distinct, splattering sound of a water bulb bursting on a metal floor. Aris froze, the damp cloth still clutched in her hand. The chill that ran through her had nothing to do with the station's climate control. The memory from her childhood was one thing, a deep, foundational memory. But this had happened minutes ago. The signal, according to Chloe, had originated from light years away. It was impossible, unless her eyes, wide with a dawning, terrifying understanding, scanned the data streaming across her screen. She had been looking at this all wrong. She had assumed the signal was being sent to her. A message. With trembling fingers, she rerouted the analysis, focusing not on the content, but on the carrier wave itself, on the subtle quantum signature embedded within it. The results populated the screen, a string of complex equations and coherence patterns. And as she read them, the blood drained from her face. The signal wasn't a transmission being received. It was a broadcast, a live broadcast, and the source identifier, buried in the quantum metadata, wasn't a point of origin in deep space. It was the unique, cryptographic signature of her own neural implant. The echo wasn't coming from the void. It was coming from her. The signal was being transmitted from her consciousness, which could only mean one thing. She wasn't the listener. She was the broadcast.